year ago, I was living with my boyfriend and a roommate in a pretty old house. We all had set schedules at the time, so on my days off, roommate would get home about 3 p.m. and boyfriend shortly after that. The house had 2 very creaky doors. The front door was a huge metal slab that when open would make a distinct groaning noise, and my roommate's bedroom door didn't fit in its frame very well, so you had to open it and close it kinda hard, which would result in a loud squeaking from the wood rubbing in its old hinge. Anyway, one Saturday I was laying in bed watching TV with my dog and my bedroom door was shut. At about noon I hear my big front door open and shut and figured someone came home early. I yelled hey, but didn't bother getting up 'cause lazy. No one replied to my hey, but heavy footsteps began climbing the stairs. I said hey again, but was cut off it. She leaped up to the foot of the bed, hackles raised and staring at my door very intently while growling and snarling. I yelled hey again, assuming my first hey wasn't heard, but again no one replied. The footsteps reach the top of the stairs and I hear rustling in the hallway before my roommate's door opens and slams shut. Roommate must have had a bad day. We were best friends since childhood, so I knocked on her door and received no response. I crack her door open about an inch and ask if she's okay. No response. I pop my head in, worried, about to ask if she wanted me to do anything when I see her room is completely empty. No person inside whatsoever. Did she go to the bathroom? I go down the hall and the bathroom door is open and unoccupied. I call out roommate's name and receive no reply. My dog is still barking in my bedroom. I let her stay in there because she refused to approach my doorway to exit the room. I go downstairs and roommate's shoes are not on the shoe rack. No keys besides mine are hanging up, and her coat isn't on the coat rack like it usually is. I call her name and get no answer. I check each and every room in the house, not a single person to be found. I look in the closets downstairs, empty. I peek outside and her bike is not parked in her spot. Stumped, I do a quick check of the doors and everything is still locked up tight. The storm doors can only be locked from inside the house and they were still locked. All the downstairs windows were still locked. At this point, I return to my room and my dog is still standing guard at the foot of the bed. Won't approach the doorway at all. Won't calm down. I text roommate and boyfriend and ask if anyone came home just now. They both reply a few minutes later that no one has come home. Why? I explain this situation and roommate gives me permission to search her room for an intruder. No one was in there, not in the closet or anywhere else. None of us could figure out what could have possibly made all that noise. The same thing allegedly occurred several months later when roommate was home by herself. No clue what it was. And despite our efforts, we were unable to recreate similar noises. My parents started leaving me and my sisters home alone when I was 13 or 14. Of course, the rule was not to let anyone know we were alone and not to let anyone in the house. One night, there was a knock at the door. I went to the door and tried to look out, but I couldn't see. We couldn't pretend we weren't there because the lights and TV were on. I opened the front door crack, thinking that the person would be behind the screen door, but that wasn't the case. There was a man, late 20s or early 30s, standing in the doorway. I shut the door quickly and told him to get behind the screen door. He obliged, and I cracked the door. Yes, I wasn't very smart, and latched the screen door. He told a story about his vehicle breaking down and his need to use a phone. I said I couldn't see a car, and he indicated it was further down the road. I asked why he walked past the 2 houses right next door to one with no car in the driveway, and he became agitated. Here's a general recollection of the conversation. Him, look, are you going to let me use a phone or not? Me, no, my dad is sleeping and I can't let you go in his room to use the phone. Him, okay, bring the phone out here and I'll use it. Me, I'm not letting you in the house. Him, just bring the phone to the door. Me, it won't reach. Please leave. Him, okay. I shut the door and lock it. While my sisters and I are talking about how scary that was, the side door handle jiggles. He knocks and says, will it reach to this door? At this point, I tell him to go to the neighbor's house and use their phone. He starts to yell, I bet your dad's not there. Let me in. I want to talk to him. I said, fine. I'll go get him. I then went into my dad's room and got his shotgun. I came out, racked it, and said, here, meet my dad. The guy started cursing and calling me names, but he left, or at least that's what I thought. He had actually gone around to another door and tried that one. Our dog, who was outside at the time, began barking at him. He proceeded to do something that made the dog yelp and cry out. I screamed out that I was calling the police, and he finally left. I felt really stupid for the entire interaction. I don't know if he was just a guy who needed a phone, but the whole experience was creepy, and I was obviously ill-prepared for dealing with it. So, while I was in 14YL, my parents would let me to take the bus home. I would pretty much be on my lonesome until it was time to pick my little brother from the bus stop a couple of hours later. I would watch him until maybe about 7 or 8ish till one of my parents would come from work unless one of them off or got home early. Now on this day that event happened, I was extremely tired from state exams that were currently going on at my school. So I got home, fed my 2 family dogs and proceeded to crash on couch without doing my homework. Super tired. Now I felt sleep on couch for maybe an hour. When I hear something that sounds like stomping coming from the upstairs area in my house. To give a little background on the house, it was 2-level townhouse with basement. The living room where I was sleeping in is in the back part of the house on 1st floor, and where the stomping sound was coming from is located to the front on 2nd floor, which is where my parents' room is at. So, thinking that my father may have came home early and started cleaning their room, I instantly yelled, Dad. No response. I yell again several times with no response each time, until the stomping just randomly stops for about a minute and then starts again louder than before. At this point in time, my dogs perk up on couch and look at me with their ears pointed up, confused as they're hearing it too. So I get up and make my way towards the steps and they follow behind. Now, at this point I kind of feel dread in my heart, as I have no clue what is upstairs causing the noise, and I know that I am completely alone in my house. So finally make the steps and I again yell, Dad. The stomping suddenly stops for about 30 seconds and picks right back up to the point where I can kind of feel the house shake now. Now I'm extremely scared and do not want to go any further to figure it out. So I look at my dogs like I'm going to send them up there. They look at me, then each other, then take a couple steps back and then look back up at me. I look at them firmly, say, if y'all not going up there, then definitely I'm not. Then we all book it to the couch and wait out the stomping, and I cut on the TV, trying drowning it out with Animal Planet playing. Eventually, the stomp stops for good. Later on, after picking up my brother, investigate the 2nd floor, checking every room to no one being up there and nothing being out of place. To this day, that house kind of freaks me out, as a lot weird unexplainable stuff were happening there.